Hello, everyone. Great to see you again. In today's video, I'm continuing from our previous lesson where we talked about prefixes. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you all about suffixes, how they are added to nouns, verbs, and adjectives to create new words and meanings. We'll learn about suffixes that show a doer, an action, a capacity, a domain, a period or condition, an abstract idea, or even a person. All right, let's get started. 1. Suffix meaning doer. We usually use the suffixes or sometimes are, to show the doer of an action, the person who performs that action. Let's look at some examples to understand this clearly. When we take the verb run and add we get runner. A runner is someone who runs, for example, in a race or for exercise. Next, the verb smoke. When we add it becomes smoker. A smoker is a person who smokes cigarettes. Then we have swim. If we add we get swimmer. A swimmer is a person who swims in the pool or in the sea. How about teach? When we add it becomes teacher. A teacher is the person who teaches students in school. Now, look at the verb sail. When we add it becomes sailor. A sailor is a person who works or travels on a ship. The next one is drink. Add and we get drinker. A drinker is someone who drinks alcohol or any beverage. Then we have lie. When we add it becomes liar. A liar is a person who tells lies, someone who doesn't tell the truth. We can also look at some longer verbs, like facilitate. When we add it becomes facilitator. A facilitator is someone who makes a process easier or helps a group work smoothly. And finally, moderate. With it becomes moderator. A moderator is a person who leads or manages a discussion, meeting, or debate. So, to summarize, when you see words ending with ER, OR, or AR, they often describe a person who does an action, the doer. For example, a teacher teaches, a runner runs, a sailor sails. That's how the suffix doer helps us form new nouns from verbs. 2. Suffix meaning action. In this lesson, we'll talk about suffixes that show action, how we can change a verb into a noun that expresses the act or process of doing something. There are 3 common suffixes we use for this: ing, ion, and ment. Let's go through them one by one with examples so you can understand clearly. First, let's look at ing. When we add ing to a verb, it often turns into a noun that shows an ongoing action or the process of doing something. For example, from the verb drink, we get drinking. Drinking water is important for your health. From play, we get playing. Playing football makes me happy. In both cases, the words drinking and playing describe the action itself. Next, we use ion. This suffix usually turns a verb into a noun that represents the result or process of an action. For example, relate becomes relation. The relation between teacher and student is very important. Conclude becomes conclusion. We reached a conclusion after the meeting. So, ion helps us describe something that happens as a result of an action or process. And finally, the suffix ment. This one is also used to change a verb into a noun that expresses the result, process, or state of an action. For example, punish becomes punishment. The student received a punishment for being late. Entertain becomes entertainment. Television is a form of entertainment. Fulfill becomes fulfillment. Helping others gives me great fulfillment. Develop becomes development. The country's development depends on education. Enjoy becomes enjoyment. Traveling brings a lot of enjoyment. So, to summarize, ing shows a continuing action like drinking or playing. Ion shows the process or result like relation or conclusion. Ment shows the result, state, or outcome like punishment or enjoyment. These suffixes are very common in English and help us form action nouns from verbs. That's all for today's lesson. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more English learning videos. See you in the next one. Would you like me to write the next script about suffix, meaning capacity, next? 3. Suffix meaning full. We're going to talk about the suffix full, which often shows capacity, meaning as much as something can hold or contain. Let's see how it works with some examples. When we add full to a noun, it means the amount that can fill that thing or as much as that thing can hold. For example, hand. Handful. A handful means as much as your hand can hold. Example, she picked a handful of rice. Mouth. Mouthful. A mouthful means as much as your mouth can hold at one time. Don't talk with a mouthful of food. Pocket. Pocketful. A pocketful means as much as can fit in your pocket. Example, he found a pocketful of coins. Spoon. Spoonful. A spoonful means as much as one spoon can hold. Example, add a spoonful of sugar to your tea. Eye. Eyeful. An eyeful means a full look or view of something. Example, he got an eyeful of the beautiful sunset. So, when we use the suffix full in this way, it expresses capacity, quantity, or amount, how much something can hold or contain. It's simple to form. Just take a noun plus full, and you get a word that describes how full or how much that noun can hold. Let's review quickly. Hand to handful, the amount a hand can hold. Mouth to mouthful, the amount a mouth can hold. Spoon to spoonful, the amount a spoon can hold. Pocket to pocketful, the amount a pocket can hold. Eye to eyeful, a full look or view. 4. Suffix meaning domain. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the suffix dum, which usually shows a domain, state, or condition. In other words, it tells us about a place, situation, or quality related to the root word. Let's explore some examples together. Free to freedom. Freedom means the state of being free, when you can act or speak without being controlled. Example: everyone deserves freedom of choice. Wise to wisdom. Wisdom means the quality of being wise or having deep understanding and good judgment. Example: the old man shared his wisdom with the younger generation. Bore to boredom. Boredom means the state of being bored or feeling tired and uninterested. Example: long meetings often cause boredom. King to kingdom. Kingdom means a domain ruled by a king or the area where a king has power. Example: the king protected his kingdom from invaders. Duke, dukedom. Dukedom means the territory or land governed by a duke. Example: the dukedom was known for its beautiful castles. So, when we add dum to a noun or adjective, it changes the meaning to show a state or condition, like freedom, boredom, or a domain or territory, like kingdom, dukedom. It's an easy way to form abstract nouns that express states, powers, or realms. Brain, quick review. Free to freedom, state of being free. Wise to wisdom, quality of being wise. Bore to boredom, state of being bored. King to kingdom, domain ruled by a king. Duke to dukedom, territory of a duke. That's it for this lesson. Star. Now you know that the suffix dum shows a domain, state, or condition. Try creating your own examples and sentences to practice using this suffix naturally. 5. Suffix meaning period or condition. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the suffix hood, a very common and useful ending in English that shows a period of life, a condition, or a state of being. When you add hood to a noun or adjective, it turns the word into another noun that expresses a stage, relationship, or quality connected to that word. Let's look at some easy examples together. Neighbor, neighborhood. Neighborhood means the area or community where people live close to one another. Example: our neighborhood is very friendly and quiet. Manhood. Manhood means the state or period of being a man or the qualities of maturity and responsibility that come with it. Example: he proved his manhood through courage and kindness. So, what does the suffix hood really mean? It shows a period of life, like childhood, manhood. B, a state or condition, like brotherhood, neighborhood. Or C, a group or relationship like sisterhood, priesthood. Quick review. Neighbor plus hood equals neighborhood, the area where you and others live. Child plus hood equals childhood, the time when you are a child. Man plus hood equals manhood, the state of being a man. That's all for this lesson. Now you know that the suffix hood helps describe life stages, relationships, and social conditions. Try using it in your own sentences. For example, my childhood friend still lives in my neighborhood. 6. Suffix meaning abstract noun. In this lesson, we're going to learn about suffixes that form abstract nouns, words that describe ideas, qualities, or concepts rather than physical things you can touch or see. These suffixes include ism, ship, ness, and t. Let's understand them one by one with clear examples. Star. Idea 1. Suffix ism. The suffix ism is often added to nouns or adjectives to describe a belief, system, practice, or social idea. Let's look at some examples. Capital to capitalism, an economic system based on private ownership and free markets. Feudal to feudalism, a social system from the Middle Ages where people worked for lords. Imperial to imperialism, the policy of one country controlling other countries. Social to socialism, a system where the community or government owns major resources. Colonial to colonialism, the control or influence of one nation over another. Tour to tourism, the activity or business of people traveling for pleasure. Example sentence. Tourism is very important for the country's economy. So, ism shows ideas, systems, or beliefs. Idea number 2. Suffix ship. The suffix ship turns a noun into another noun that describes a state, position, or relationship. For example, friend to friendship, the state of being friends. Leader to leadership, the ability or position of being a leader. Relation to relationship, the connection or bond between people or things. Example sentence. True friendship is built on trust and respect. So ship means a state or quality of connection or position. Idea number 3. Suffix ness. The suffix ness is added to adjectives to describe a quality, condition, or emotional state. Sad, sadness, the feeling of being sad. Cruel, cruelty, the quality of being cruel or unkind. Loyal, loyalty, the quality of being faithful or devoted. Difficult, difficulty, the state of being hard or challenging. Example sentence. Her kindness makes everyone feel welcome. So, ness and t both turn adjectives into nouns that express abstract qualities or feelings. Summary. Let's review what we learned today. Ableism, ISM, ideas, systems, beliefs, socialism, capitalism, tourism. Ship, state, position, or relationship, friendship, leadership, relationship. Ness and tion, qualities or emotions, sadness, loyalty, difficulty. Tip: if a word describes something you can't touch or see physically, like a feeling, idea, or condition, it's usually an abstract noun. That's all for today's lesson. Now you know how these suffixes help form abstract nouns in English. Try to make your own examples using ism, ship, ness, and tea. We're going to continue with two more very useful suffixes in English. Minus less, which means without or empty of something, and minus ist or ion, which refer to a person related to a specific field, skill, or belief. All right, let's get started. Suffix minus less, meaning empty or without. We add minus less to a noun to describe the lack of something. In other words, when something or someone doesn't have what the base word expresses. Let's look at some examples. Care, careless. Without care, not paying attention. Example: he made a careless mistake on the test. Father, fatherless. Without a father. Example: the charity helps fatherless children. Money, moneyless. Without money, poor. After losing his job, he became moneyless for a while. So remember, minus less gives the idea of emptiness or absence. When you hear careless, it literally means without care. When you hear moneyless, it means without money. Rule to remember: noun plus minus less equals adjective, which shows lack or absence. Adjective suffixes minus ist and minus ion, meaning a person. Now let's look at two suffixes that describe people: the doers, the professionals, or those who follow certain beliefs. The suffix ist. We use ist to describe a person who practices or specializes in a subject or activity. Examples: science, scientist, a person who studies or works in science. Example: Albert Einstein was a great scientist. Violin, violinist, a person who plays the violin. Example: the violinist performed beautifully on stage. The suffix in. We use in for people who have a profession or special skill, or who belong to a certain field. Examples: music, to musician, a person who plays or creates music. Example: she's a talented musician who plays the piano. Pharmacy, to pharmacist or pharmacienne, a person who prepares and sells medicine. Example: you should ask the pharmacist about how to use this medicine safely. Rainbow summary time. Let's review what we learned today. A. Check less means without or empty of something. Careless, fatherless, and moneyless. Check ist and in means a person who practices or specializes in something. Scientist, violinist, musician, and pharmacist. Brain tip: if you want to describe someone's job, skill, or area of study, use ist or in. If you want to describe the lack of something, use less. That's it for today's lesson, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more English learning videos. See you again next time. And remember, keep learning and keep improving every day.